Metroid Prime 4 reviews just landed, and oh god, it's not looking too good, guys. Fans, including myself, are worried. After nearly 2 decades of hype, guys, literally 18 years, the game is sitting around an 81 on Metacritic, which, in hindsight, is not bad at all. That's actually above average, but we've been waiting 18 years for Metroid Prime 4. That's not acceptable. And looking at the reactions of these review scores, it couldn't be more divided, guys. You got critics calling it the best Prime game since the original, while others are saying it's held back by empty worlds, distracting NPCs, and new mechanics that don't feel like Metroid at all. But here's the thing, a lot of people predicted that this would be the exact outcome, and now it's playing almost beat for beat. Let's break down what's actually happening, guys, and why Metroid Prime 4 score isn't the disaster people think it is, but it's also not the big W that people were expecting out of this, guys. Before we begin, though, if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that sub button. Don't forget to hit that like so this video can get out to more people. So let's continue, guys. Like I was saying, and other people were saying, and I got heated in the past. When Metroid Prime 4 first got announced, I made a video that got disliked into oblivion saying, am I the only person that's not excited about Metroid Prime 4? And I got torched for years, months even. I was saying Metroid Prime 4 wasn't going to be a perfect game. It wasn't going to be like a 92, a 93, a 94 on Metacritic. Not because it looked bad, but because the legacy of Prime 1 and 2 is almost impossible to replicate in 2025. These games hit at the perfect time, guys. They had no competition in their lane. They pushed visuals to the limit, and they were actually revolutionary for Nintendo. Prime 4 is releasing into a completely different industry with completely different expectations for games like this, and the reviews are proving that. So let's break down the score, guys. The Switch 2 version of Metroid Prime 4 is sitting at an 81, and that's with 64 critic reviews, 81% positive, 19% mixed, 0% negative. And like I said, an 81 is objectively good, guys, but for a series that historically lives in the 90s, it's causing some concern, guys. Some outlets threw out perfect scores, praising the atmosphere, the tone, the exploration, the return to true form, right? That catchphrase that we see from all these outlets. They're saying that it brings back the true Metroid Prime feeling and the overall presentation. But then you got others that feel the opposite, saying the world feels empty, which looking at the trailer where it showed Samus on the bike, it does look empty. I don't know if that's because that's just a desert area or whatever. I did try demo at Walmart. It seemed okay, but it just felt like I was playing a pretty cheap 3D FPS Metroid Halo. I don't know. The demo just didn't wow me enough, right? And then people are saying the new open worlds or the open areas lack meaningful content, meaningful, robust content. What is this, DSP, the video game? NPC interruptions ruin isolation, and some new additions pull the game away from what fans loved. So that's what the checkpoint's saying. That split is what's fueling the fire right now when it comes to Metroid Prime 4 and the concern over the reviews, guys. Why are the critics so divided? Well, this is where everything gets interesting. You got hardcore Metroid Prime fans, and they are hardcore, who think Prime 4 is a top tier return. Maybe not Prime 1 level, but close enough to make them happy. But then you got critics who are saying this is the biggest Metroid Prime game ever and somehow the emptiest. That's brutal, as PPP would say from Kino Casino. And it's shown up more than once in a lot of these reviews. You're seeing a lot of these critics repeat that. The game's new open world structure is either a refreshing evolution or a direction that dilutes the Metroidvania identity. Metroidvanias are supposed to feel like closed in, right? Well, this game is trying to do something new. But at the same time, it doesn't seem like they are. It seems like they're playing it safe because overall, it kind of looks like it's just an average, play it safe, mediocre title based on these critic reviews. Again, it hasn't come out yet. We haven't played it. I will be trying to find out for myself, but it's saying the new NPCs add personality for some players while completely ruining the classic isolation vibe for others. I could see that. Metroid Dread did a great job of the isolation. You're in space. In space, no one can hear you scream, but you got that weird sidekick character that's involved in this game. Allegedly, he's not around past the tutorial, but still. So you have two groups that are reviewing two different experiences they've had with this game, but it's such a concern because we've waited 18 years. Yeah, there's an 18-year problem with here. Every single conversation about Metroid Prime 4 needs to start with that dialogue, right? That it's been 18 years since the last mainline Prime game, which is nearly 2 decades. If somebody was 1 year old when Prime last came out, they'd be a grown fucking adult now. Prime 1 and 2 were groundbreaking when they were released. They were visually unmatched, guys. That pushed the GameCube to the limits. I had a lot of fun with those two games. The third one, not so much. Prime 3 did hit during peak Wii hype, but I wasn't really into motion controls, even though they felt revolutionary, but it did help with the sales of Prime 3. That context will never exist again, though, guys. And that's the weight that Prime 4 has been forced to carry. Making another great Metroid Prime game is one thing. Making a entirely fucking huge thing like a cultural shift, a cultural moment like Prime 1 and 2, that's going to be damn near impossible because, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, don't get mad, looking at the screenshots, this just looks like any other video game that we've played the last 18 fucking years. I'm sorry, Metroid fans. I'm not trying to dish on it or fucking diss on it or whatever the fuck. Like, I'm not trying to be harsh, okay? It just looks like Nintendo put another average title out, played it safe. We're going to forget about it in a couple weeks once we're done with it, guys. And you know what? It is possible that some reviewers are subconsciously judging the game through a time machine, expecting it to recreate that nostalgic feeling. You know, they have nostalgia for the Metroid series, but you can't forget that. Now let's talk about what Nintendo, the development hell that Nintendo had this game going through it. They paid for this game twice, guys. It was originally supposed to be a Bandai Namco game, and then they scrapped it. So all that development costs went poof, like it evaporated, it burned out. They started this game back out from scratch, guys. Retro Studios had to rebuild the entire project from scratch again, guys. That's two budgets that they've had on this game. You're two budgets deep. You're eventually going to hit a point where Nintendo probably said, "Hey, we can't keep putting money into this. Just ship it as is, guys." And looking at Metroid Prime 4, sure, it might be a well-made game. It might be polished, but like I said, it feels safe, guys. It feels safe. Nintendo's been doing this too much with their IPs. They know they're going to sell. They know they're going to sell tons of units. They know people are going to buy it. They're going to play it. They don't care about taking risk anymore. They play things safe, and it looks like they did it with that. This isn't a massive reinvention that an 18-year-old return could have been. This game has been 18 years in the making, just about. They should have went fucking balls to the wall with it. And I think that's a small issue I have with it. Could the game still be good? We're going to check it out. But 81 score is not a failure. Let me say that. First and foremost, because there's going to be some anime avatar Sonic the Hedgehog weeb in the comments. Why are you panicking? Why are you guys are just reaching to find something bad. No, I don't think an 81 score is bad at all. It's not even remotely close to a failure. It's just when you're waiting 18 years for something and it just comes across as average with the critic scores. I don't know. To me, it just feels like they didn't do enough. They're playing it safe. I know we're in this weird era where gamers act like anything under an 8 out of 10 is unplayable, which is pretty insane. There's been some pretty solid 8s out there. I think IGN gave Metroid Prime 4 an 8. It's clearly a good game with some divisive ideas. Some people are going to love the classic formula. Some will wish that it was pushed further. For me, I'm in that aspect. I wanted them to try something different. Some will be frustrated by design choices that simply aren't for them, like the sidekick that's going to help you out. This is not a disaster. It's just a normal reaction to a series trying to evolve after 18 years. But my question is, why isn't this a 94? All right? Does Metroid Prime 4 do enough to move the series forward? Or is this going to be so-so? I don't want it to be so. I'm not the biggest Metroid Prime, Metroid in general fan out there. I don't think being average is what this game needs. This was a game that we've been waiting for quite some time. So now I want to hear from you guys. Are you worried? Are you surprised or unfazed by these Metroid Prime 4 review scores? Does an 81 feel like a red flag to you, or is that normal for 2025? Drop your thoughts down below in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. I will be playing this game when it launches, so stay tuned. And don't forget to hit that like button if you didn't, or that dislike. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Thank you.